This is all about the network side of the AI box. It's a network appliance, so like any network appliance, you've got to configure its network. So like any network appliance, it supports DHCP, where your router over your DHCP server service basically handshakes with the AI box and says, okay, here's your network information. You can also turn around. It also supports, oh, now it's on DHCP. Now it's on manual. So you can also manually assign all that network information manually if you, again, depending on the deployment. You might have a router that allows you to set up exclusions. So in other words, you've assigned an IP address to the MAC address of this device. It's exclusive to that MAC address. It will not change, and you're good to go to leave the device on DHCP because you know, because of the setting of the router, that network address will never change and will not cause a headache in your network communications between the AI box and whatever else is being used in companion with it, or it being a companion to. If your router or network deployment scheme does not allow you to do exclusivity, being able to assign specifically an IP address to a MAC address, then you can take DHCP, turn it off, set it to manual, and manually assign that IP information in there. Now, if you do that, the rule of thumb for that, every DHCP service usually has an IP pool. So 192.168.2, and then the pool might be from 100 to 150. So that's your DHCP pool. Anything attached to the router utilizing DHCP is going to get an IP address from that pool. If you set your device to static, like I have here, make sure that that IP is outside of that pool. If you know 150 is the highest assignable IP, then 151 or greater you can use for devices that need that static IP assigned. Example here being 167, which is higher than 150 max IP that might be assigned. Okay, IP filter. Basically, this is the AI box's way of hardening the security of the box. So basically, you can say anything within the IP filter list. That IP is either allowed or not allowed to communicate with the AI box. So from a cybersecurity standpoint, it's your way of hardening the device. Not every deployment is going to require it. Knowing that it's there allows you to get into more sites, because if you run into a site where there is cybersecurity policies that require IP filtering, you already know that the AI box offers it. And so it's still a contender for that deployment. Service port. So this is the communications port for the AI box. So HTTPS communications, secure HTTP protocol, default 8443. Programmable. You can change it based on what the deployment requirement needs. So you can see the theme running through is flexibility and robust functionality. Rtsp stream, that's where the video streams that we see over here, that's the protocol that they require. So when I bring this video stream into a video management software, or I bring it into a DVR or an embedded NVR, it's going to be brought into that device or that platform by way of Rtsp stream. Now again, back to cybersecurity. Cybersecurity may not allow you to use the default port of 5554. Well, okay, change it. Just put on a plus or a minus. Set it to whatever the policy allows for or dictates to use, and you're good to go. And same thing with the OnViv port. So they're programmable, allowing you to allow the AI box to fit into the various potential deployments.